The last rays of the Arizona sun stretched long over Red Mesa as Colt Harrison rode into town with the soft crunch of gravel beneath his horse's hooves, unaware that destiny was waiting for him in the most unlikely corner of the dusty auction yard. He had heard rumors all morning, rumors of Apache. Families captured after a brutal winter storm destroyed their camps, leaving them vulnerable to men who traded human lives as casually as cattle. But Colt's heart had never agreed with such cruelty, not even for a second. His father had raised him with the belief that every soul on this land deserved dignity, no matter their skin, their language, or their tribe. So when he saw the auction yard nearly empty, the pens already cleared, and only one figure remaining, it stopped him cold. There, seated in complete stillness, beside a lonely wooden post, was an Apache woman, her hands resting calmly in her lap, her braids falling across her shoulders like black rivers, her posture unbroken, untouched by fear, unbent by the chaos of the world around her. The auctioneer kicked at the dirt and muttered that every other captive had been taken, sold off quick. But this one refused to move, refused to speak, refused to bow. "Nobody wants her," the man said. But Colt felt a heat rise in his chest. Not anger, not pity, but awe. She wasn't unwanted, she was unyielding. Strong in a way the auctioneer could never understand. Colt stepped toward her, and for a split second she turned her eyes toward him. Her gaze struck him like a bolt of lightning, deep, calm, fearless, ancient as canyon stone, yet soft as twilight wind. In that instant he knew, if he walked away, he would betray every value his father taught him. So Colt declared he would take her, but not as property. He said it loud, clear, and steady. He was giving her protection, freedom, and dignity. The auctioneer scoffed but handed her over without argument. She rose to her feet with the gentle grace of someone who carried centuries of tradition in her silence and walked beside Colt with her head high, not broken, not defeated, but proud. As they left the yard, the remaining sunlight caught her silhouette, and Colt knew he had done something that mattered, something bigger than the frontier's harsh rules. The ride back to his ranch was long and quiet. Coyotes howled in the distance, and the evening breeze tugged softly at her braids as she walked beside his horse. Colt didn't speak at first. He didn't want to interrupt her thoughts. When they reached the ranch gate, he dismounted, opened the latch, and signaled gently for her to follow, making sure she saw that he meant no harm and held no ownership over her. Inside the ranch house, he offered her warm bread, beans, stew, and clean water. She ate slowly, watching him with steady eyes, weighing his nature, testing his sincerity. When she finished, she finally whispered her name, Nayeli. The syllables floated through the room like a calm river beneath moonlight, simple, gentle, yet powerful. Over the next days, Colt saw a transformation unfold, not because Nayeli changed, but because the ranch itself seemed to respond to her presence. She moved with quiet purpose through every corner of the land, feeding the chickens before sunrise, brushing the horses with practiced hands, repairing tools that Colt had meant to fix for months. Even the wild Mustang in the east pasture, who never let anyone near him, allowed Nayeli to approach and touch his mane. Colt watched her in awe, realizing she wasn't just strong, she brought peace wherever she walked. One evening, as a lavender dusk settled over the open plains, Colt found her standing on a hill overlooking the ranch, her silhouette framed against the soft glow of stars beginning to appear. When he joined her, she broke the silence with a truth that cut straight to the bone. "I stayed behind because I was waiting for someone whose heart was not ruled by cruelty." Colt felt something inside him shift, something deep, something that had been quiet for years. He whispered that she was safe, free, and respected here, not just because it was right, but because she deserved nothing less. From that moment on, a bond began to grow, slow, steady, unspoken, built not on force or obligation, but on trust, compassion, and shared humanity. They worked together, ate together, sometimes sat by the fire without exchanging a single word. Yet the silence between them felt warm rather than empty. Naili taught Colt how to read weather signs in the clouds, how to track animals by the break of a twig, how to understand the land not as something to be owned, but as something to belong to. And Colt taught her how to saddle different horses, how to repair barn hinges, how to grind flour from dried corn. Over time, the ranch grew vibrant again. No longer a lonely inheritance from his father, but a place alive with purpose, harmony, and hope. People in Red Mesa whispered their story, some with confusion, some with admiration, and some with quiet respect. But to Colt and Naili, the world outside didn't matter. They had found something in each other that the frontier rarely offered: safety, understanding, and a partnership built on pure humanity. And in a land shaped by hardship and silence, their connection became a quiet reminder that even in the wildest corners of the West, kindness could carve out a place where two souls could stand side by side, strong, free, and unbroken.